Today we're going to talk about how to buy a home in Colorado with only $1,000 down, and how that's possible is through the Chavez program. The Chavez program is a Colorado down payment assistance program that helps first-time home buyers purchase a home. What's even better though is you don't even need to be a first-time home buyer to qualify for this program. Here's what you'll need to get started. You must have a 620 credit score or higher. Now, every lender is going to pull from all three of your credit bureaus. So your TransUnion, your Experian, and also your Equifax. And out of those three credit bureaus, the lender is going to use your mid score. So for example, let's say it's just you on the loan and your credit scores are 615, 620, and 660. 615 is the lowest credit score, 660 is the highest credit score, and 620 is your mid score. The lender would use the 620 mid score. But now let's say it's you and your spouse on the loan. So two people in total on the loan. Your credit scores are 615, 620, and 660, with your mid score being 620. Now your spouse's credit scores are 600, 615, and 660, mid score being 615. Now here's something you should know. The lender is going to use the lowest of the two mid scores, meaning based off of this example, the lender is going to use a 615 credit score. Now, if you're curious to know what your credit score is, you could definitely check with the lender, or if you're not comfortable with that yet, you can request a free credit report from annualcreditreport.com. Now, the next thing you want to make sure you have is 2 years of job history. So in a perfect world, you'll want to have at least a 2-year period of holding an hourly or salary job. And of course, consistency here is super important. For example, let's say you work at Target warehouse for a year and then you work at Walmart for a year. That's 2 years in total. You're good. So this gives lenders the idea that you are consistently employed and have a better chance of paying your mortgage payment. But let's say you work at Target warehouse for 2 years and then you're jobless for 8 months. This can still work as long as you're currently employed. However, you will need to provide very good reasoning to why you weren't working for 8 months. Maybe you went back to school, maybe you had a medical situation, or maybe you were taking care of a family member. Whatever the reason, you'll need to explain it to your lender, and then from there, they'll also need documentation to basically back that up. So it's super important to first have a job, keep the job, and if you decide to leave your job, don't go too long without having one. And then lenders want to see that pattern of employment. They want to see that you're someone who gets up, goes to work, and brings home a paycheck. Because at the end of the day, they're lending you hundreds of thousands of dollars and they want to know you can pay it back. Now, you're going to want to pay attention to this. You'll need to have at least $1,000 invested into this process. Now, so many homebuyers struggle to understand this. Physical cash money cannot be used for your down payment. So down payment or any funds invested into the real estate transaction must come from a documented taxable source. These are sources like your employment income, retirement income, disability, or even a gift from a family member. If your $1,000 was deposited into your bank account recently from cash you saved over the years, a lender would not be able to use that income for a Chavez loan. The reason being, a lender doesn't know where that money came from and if it was taxed or not. You basically have no pay stub or documents to show for it. And also keep in mind, saving more than $1,000 will help with your approval. So this is because if a lender sees that you have a cushion in the bank, they feel more comfortable, you'll have a better chance of not falling behind on your mortgage payments. Think about it this way. If you have exactly $1,000 and you use it all for your down payment, what happens when your first mortgage payment is due? What if your car breaks down? What if you need to fix something in your new home? Furnace, cut down a tree, roof. Lenders think about these things too. They like to see that you have what's called reserves, which basically means extra money in the bank after you buy the home. I can go on about this topic, but just keep in mind funds must come from a taxable source like job income, retirement, disability income, or a documented gift from a family member. So here's your checklist. Credit score needs to be a 620 or higher. If you're not sure what your credit score is, check with the lender or annualcreditreport.com. 2 years of job history. So this can be 1 year at 2 different jobs, as long as you're showing some consistency there. And then $1,000 down in your checking or savings account. Just make sure it's not recently deposited cash you've been saving in a shoebox. As long as you have these 3 things, you have a solid base to purchase a home in Colorado. Now, once you connect with the lender, they'll tell you how much you qualify for based off of your income. And from there, you can decide if it's the right time for you or not. Let me tell you what happens next. When when you go to a lender with these three things, they're going to look at your monthly income. They're going to look at your monthly debts as well, things like car payments, credit card payments, student loans, and they're going to calculate something they call debt to income ratio. This tells the lender how much house you can afford. If you're not sure where you stand currently as far as credit, income, or job history, definitely reach out to a lender or even myself if you have any questions. So my info is in the description below. Remember, buying a home might seem scary or complicated, but it really doesn't have to be. With the Chavez program and just $1,000, you could be in your own home sooner than you think. See you for the next one.